In the warm waters of the Andaman Sea, between the southern coasts of Thailand and western Burma, Myanmar, there lives a people who for centuries have existed in a delicate balance with the ocean. They are known as the Moken, often called sea nomads or sea gypsies. Yet none of these labels fully captures the depth of their history, their ancestral knowledge, or the extraordinary relationship they maintain with the underwater world. The origins of the Moken are lost in time. They left no written records, and their history has been passed down through generations through oral storytelling, songs, and myths. They are believed to descend from ancient Austronesian peoples who began migrating across Southeast Asia more than 2,000 years ago. Unlike other human groups who settled on land, the Moken chose the sea as their home. They did not merely cross it, they lived within it. For centuries, their lives unfolded aboard traditional wooden boats known as kabang, built without nails, assembled with natural fibers, and designed to move in harmony with the waves. These vessels were not only means of transportation, but floating homes, family spaces, and symbols of identity. The sea was never a resource to be exploited, but a living entity with which to coexist. Moken religion does not follow structured systems such as Buddhism or Islam, though it has absorbed elements of both. Their spirituality is animistic. They believe the world is inhabited by spirits that dwell in the sea, the wind, the reefs, and their ancestors. One of their most important oral traditions tells of a great wave that would come as punishment when humans stopped listening to the sea. This myth gained profound meaning after the 2004 tsunami, when many Moken survived because they recognized the ocean's warning signs and fled to higher ground before the wave arrived. For the Moken, the sea is not something to be conquered or challenged. It must be respected. Every act of fishing, every journey, is surrounded by rituals and unwritten rules aimed at maintaining balance between what is taken and what is returned. What truly makes the Moken unique is their physical and biological relationship with the sea. From a very young age, children learn to swim, dive, and fish. They play underwater the way other children play on land. This constant exposure has produced remarkable abilities, especially in underwater vision. Scientific studies have shown that Moken children can focus underwater with exceptional clarity, something most humans cannot do without goggles. This ability is not due to a radical genetic mutation, but rather to a physiological and neurological adaptation. Children learn to constrict their pupils and alter the shape of the lens in ways similar to marine animals. It is a rare example of how environment and culture can shape the human body. In terms of apnea, the Moken practice a highly efficient form of free diving. They can remain submerged for several minutes, descend to notable depths, and move with minimal oxygen consumption. Their technique is based on relaxation, breath control, and an intuitive understanding of currents and reefs. They do not hunt aggressively. Instead, they gather fish, mollusks, and crustaceans using simple spears or their bare hands, carefully choosing what to take. There is no conclusive evidence of significant genetic differences compared to other populations, but there is clear proof of extraordinary biological plasticity, the result of generations adapted to a marine environment. Traditionally, the Moken did not accumulate possessions. Everything had to be light, mobile, and functional. They shared what the sea provided and moved according to the seasons, avoiding the overexploitation of any single area. This way of life began to unravel in the 20th century, when modern nation-states imposed borders, fishing laws, and policies of forced settlement. When the Moken were pushed onto land, many lost their ancestral way of life. In coastal settlements, without free access to the sea or their traditional routes, problems emerged that had never existed before. One of the greatest challenges the Moken have faced in recent decades has been the introduction of drugs and destructive fishing practices, particularly dynamite fishing. These methods are not part of Moken tradition. They were introduced through external illegal fishing networks and trafficking routes. Some young Moken, marginalized and lacking economic alternatives, became caught in these destructive systems. Dynamite fishing not only destroys coral reefs, the foundation of marine ecosystems, but also breaks the spiritual bond the Moken have always maintained with the ocean. For the elders, this practice represents a deep wound, not only to the sea, but to the very identity of their people. Today, the Moken stand at a crossroads. Many lack recognized citizenship in both Thailand and Myanmar, severely limiting their access to education, healthcare, and basic rights. Tourism, while sometimes providing income, has also turned their culture into a spectacle, reducing it to an exotic curiosity. Yet not all is loss. In recent years, initiatives have emerged to preserve their language, maritime knowledge, and sustainable relationship with the ocean. Scientists, educators, and Moken leaders are working together to integrate modern education without erasing ancestral identity. The survival of the Moken as a people depends on one essential truth: they must be allowed to remain Moken, not as a tourist postcard, nor as a marginalized minority, but as guardians of a knowledge the modern world has forgotten. In an age of climate crisis, collapsing oceans, and biodiversity loss, the Moken do not represent the past, but a possible answer for the future. They know how to read the sea, to listen to it, and to respect it. They understand that we are not owners of nature, but temporary guests. And perhaps, when the world finally looks back to the ocean with humility, it will remember that there was a people who never stopped living in harmony with it. A people who taught their children to see underwater not only with their eyes, but with their souls.